Michigan great Braylon Edwards and, of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go! Wednesday show, January 15th, 2025. Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube, we say hello. Thanks to everybody. Smash that like button, pound that subscribe button. Coming up on 80,000 subscribers on that platform. And if you're watching on X, good afternoon as well. Watching live there on X. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, Ryan. It is indeed a good afternoon. You and I were in Maz, got a chance to exchange some pictures and videos. I was playing with my niece in the snow. She was sledding down the hill and throwing snowballs, and I was taking the moment in, man. Like, those moments like that are precious. So enjoy spending a little time like that with my niece. So shout out to my niece, my mom, and my sister. But also, Ryan, I came in with good news. One of my former teammates, one of the best one of the best college players of all time. Well, Pete, if you put that up there, man, he finally lost his virginity, man. He finally lost his virginity.
My boy Tebow.
My man, Tim Tebow.
Yes.
Timothy Tebow, who I will only say that in this glorious situation. He finally he went on ahead and made something happen. So shout out to Tebow, congratulations, may your child be a healthy one.
Tebow.
He waited, he did it the right way, man. He said he was gonna do it this way, and to my knowledge, this is the way he done. So shout out Tebow, he finally got one off.
He's a man now.
He finally got one off.
He's a man now.
Finally got one off.
He finally got one off.
Oh, man.
Shout
Tom
out.
Massaway, how do you top that, my friend?
That baby's going to be good looking. That's all I know. Two beautiful people there. Congratulations to the T-Bows.
Will they have a better arm than him, though?
100%.
You want a playoff game,
I
man?
forgot I was on the team. I forgot I'm playing the same team with.
Isn't he the
3
last
games.
Denver Broncos quarterback to win
A playoff
game that was drafted by
Yeah,
the
that was drafted
Broncos?
by,
Yeah.
Peyton came and
100%.
did his thing.
Unbelievable.
That was an overtime.
Tebow.
That was Demarius Thomas.
Demarius
Maybe.
Thomas,
Yeah.
rest in peace.
Like,
Yeah.
shout out
Against
to
the
Tebow.
Steelers.
Like, you know how you have these reservations about a person, and so like the whole time Tim Tebow was in college, and also I went to Michigan, so I was mad about the whole Florida Michigan deal in 2006. I just looked at his arm and was like, the arm looks horrible. Like, I know he's winning in these stats and yards, and he's got some of the best yards of stats of all time in college, but I just never thought he was that good. Played with him. Man, he threw me a ball in warm-up. I swear.
Where'd you play with him at?
New York Jets when I went back.
No kidding.
When I left Seattle in 2012 and I went back to the Jets for last. That's how I missed the butt fumble. Because I wasn't on the team when it happened, and then I made the last 3 games of the season.
You missed Thanksgiving.
100%. I didn't get there till the second game in December. Long story short, I ran a shallow cross. He threw it, he's left-handed. He threw this ball so hard, and I was like, I didn't even attempt to catch it. Like, it's December. It's in New York. I'm outside. He said, hey, man, hey, buddy, you got to catch that. I said, you got to learn how to throw that. I said, you won the Heisman. Come on, man, get better than that. So.
Oh, that's
Is he the best
fantastic.
college quarterback of all time?
He's one of them.
Yeah,
I have no
arguably.
problem saying he's one of them, but no. Like, what I saw Cam Newton do in 2010, like, good night. Cam 2010, Vince Young.
That's what I was
05.
gonna say. You've Tim Tebow because of the winning, because of the uniqueness of him. He belongs in the conversation. There's no doubt about it. But when you talk about things that you've never seen before, best 2 college football players that I've ever laid 2 eyes on, it's Reggie Bush and it's Vince Young, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
I think that's where the conversation starts.
See, now,
with those 2.
Now the conversation turns into something completely different. Because we were talking about quarterbacks, and you just dared to say somebody was better than Charles Woodson. Now I can say Reggie was the most electric, but better than Charles? Hell no.
I'll throw an
electric.
OJ in there. Then.
He said, "Seen with
Okay.
my own eyes." He didn't see OJ with his own eyes.
Right. Electric.
Yeah, in that
let's
case,
say.
it's Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
We all know the
Right.
answer to that.
Electric.
It's Barry. It's conversation over. Who I saw? Oh man, Charles Woodson, Cam Newton.
Guys, by the way, I feel like I should give a shout out to Anson Wells.
Shout out.
He had this thing going up.
He's the maestro.
He absolutely owned the chat. I gotta silence my computer here. He owned the super chat yesterday.
He's
What in
rocking
the
and rolling.
world was happening here?
Oh, yeah.
He basically took over. He came up with this idea. He bought in the car. Unbeknownst to me, by the way, I had no part in it to the end. bought in the card, and he said, hey, look, we'll get the Super Chat going, man. For the person that puts in the most money on Super Chats, they get to get this card. And not only will they get this card, he looked at me and said, I think Braylon signed it for you. So we had that thing going, and they went back and forth. And it came down to the wire between
Who won?
Dante 151. He edged out Zach pretty much the last 3 minutes of the show.
How did he get the card?
We're going to send it to him, mail it to him. I signed it on the show, and then, I'm going to mail it out.
Just emailed me his address, and he's in Traverse City, by the way, Dante.
We got
is
something
fantastic.
coming tomorrow, too, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
I love
Another
that.
prize coming.
We got
I
another
love
prize,
that.
man. I might pick up something from Pro Sports Zone.
Which makes me think I totally suck at this chat thing. Now, I've always sucked at the chat thing. I've always sucked at the chat thing. But, my goodness, that is awesome. No doubt. Guys, we're going to talk to another one of your former quarterbacks momentarily. Yes. Brady Quinn is going to join us. We'll talk about that Notre Dame versus Ohio State in the national championship game. It is going to be amazing. And I am, as much as it pains me to say this, I mean, I think you know where I lie in this one. It is go Irish all day, every day, and twice on Monday. Go Irish in this game.
Yeah, I can never cheer for Ohio State. That just is what it is. But also, not just because I don't like Ohio State. I like what Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame are building down there. You know, we talked about this. I tweeted it out. Marcus Freeman is kind of making Notre Dame a likable program. So I'm definitely cheering for them and what they're doing. I like what they're building. This is a great story. I can't wait to ask Brady Quinn. You know, this is a team that at the beginning of the season, Ryan, they lost to Northern Illinois. Mm-hmm. Not only did they lose, they lost at home to obviously I had to be at home. They're not going there, but to go from that to this, I just want to ask, like, what were you thinking in that moment to get to here?
Programming note as well, Dan Miller, who usually joins us on Wednesdays, will join us on Friday this week because of the Saturday game. Today is a Thursday when it comes to the Lions preparation, so he is out of the mix for us today and has responsibilities with the Detroit Lions and all of those things. So Dan Miller will join us coming up on Friday instead of today. Speaking of the Lions, before we get to BQ, did you see what the NFL put out, or not so much the NFL, but that this game against the Washington Commanders has the highest average ticket price of a non-Super Bowl game. This is the biggest ticket in the history of the NFL for a non-Super Bowl game, Detroit and Washington.
I did not know that.
That just tells you how much demand there is here in Detroit for the ticket to be in the building on Saturday night, and you can only do something first once. There is never going to be another situation where the Lions are, next year if they make it to the Super Bowl, next year if they hosted an NFC Championship game, it won't be the first. You know what I mean? I guess they should play this one and win this one.
Yes.
But
we all got them winning already.
You know where I'm going with it.
Yeah. Next week we'll be
and just
more.
look at Kansas City's ticket prices as compared.
All three games combined are less than the one ticket to the Lion game.
Yeah.
Combined. So let's say they're all $250 apiece. Mm-hmm. So that's $750 compared to our $900.
Yeah.
I think, and $900 to get in is the average ticket right now to get in on Saturday night.
It would be interesting to see. You said, I think it's a couple of those things just mashed together. You know, you talk about the first time it's happened. This is the first time the Lions have been in this space where they can get a chance to go to the NFC. Second, also, the city of Detroit, you talk about the economy coming back. There's money here. So also it's the team. It's the team that is jacking these prices up as well, which is making the secondary market go up.
I will say credit to the Lions, if I could, because the playoff tickets themselves, to me, were not astronomical.
Yeah.
How much was your ticket?
It was double the price of a regular season
What's
ticket.
your regular?
It was my regular seat this year. It wasn't even double.
Right.
Regular seat this year was $158.
Okay.
Playoffs $250.
Oh wow.
Yeah, ours were
per seat.
Nothing.
That's nothing.
Ours were $557 per seat, and I told you off air what we sold for. So you're absolutely right. I think
kudos to the Lions when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Till next year.
I think also, too, like you said, it's something that you haven't seen before in terms of how good this offense is, in terms of wanting to see that team. I can only imagine what it was in St. Louis in 1999 when people were buying tickets to see the greatest show on turf. When you see that, where did this thing come from? This looks like this, and then they do it again. So it's not only that the Lions haven't never been to the NFC at home in this Ford Field. It's also that this team is good. They're fun to watch. They're the most fun team in the NFL to watch.
And, I do think you have to throw into the mix here the fact that it's on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
You talk about –
that's a fun time.
You talk about a playoff game. This is a first. The first ever Saturday night home playoff game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when you consider it like that, I mean, last year against Stafford, I think it was a Sunday night football game.
I think the Favre game when he hit Sterling Sharp was a Saturday afternoon at 4.
Yeah.
It wasn't a night game.
I don't think they had night games back
Right.
then.
But I was there. It was a Saturday game.
I just watched that
was there
game,
too.
by the way.
Yeah.
Like it just looked like it was going to go a different way. What did it start off, 17-3?
Oh, yeah.
17-3?
Derek Steinberg says ticket prices have come down quite a bit. I just got some of the club level for $550. I have seen some in the 500s for the first time, but those are like get-in prices. You're not going to see a 4 or, heaven forbid, a 3 anywhere unless it's the second number.
Club.
It would be a hell of a date night. I would love to take my wife to this
Yeah.
game. We both are huge fans. I can't even think. I can't think about it. I'm not going to drop $1,200 just to walk in.
Not only that, Maz, but I talked to a guy that I work with off air today, and he is a diehard Lions fan. He goes to every game, and not every game, most games. He's had tickets for a number of years. He went when they sucked. He sold his tickets, and he said he just couldn't pass up the money. It's so much money that he had to take that money. He said he talked to his girlfriend, and he's like, we can go on 2 vacations for this money. Like, do you want to go to the game?
Yeah.
Or, like, we could literally go on 2 vacations this year with this money. So he's like, I did. I sold them. I didn't want to do it, but it becomes kind of a no-brainer.
Correct. I mean, we're all not making, we all owe somebody something.
Right.
I mean, eventually you want to try to get even.
Yeah.
Right? And if you have a chance to get even, pay some bills. I got bills coming from my kids' schools. I can't even
Well, you got 2 in college,
two
or
in
2 in college,
Catholic,
one
high
in private school.
I mean, and that's my own fault. But still, I wouldn't mind paying off a couple of months' worth of bills.
No doubt. And, most people have mortgages. I mean, it is unbelievable. And then heaven forbid if they make it next week. Then I'm telling you, that is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen in our lives. Burn, $5 in the Super Chat. Yeah, Burn!
There we go. Get it going. Get it going.
Super Chat. We got it going. Come on.
Get it going.
That Sterling Sharp catch wasn't in Detroit.
It was in Pontiac.
It was. When the Lions play in the postseason in the city of Detroit, they are 6-0 going back to 1934. Yeah, I mean, semantics there. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the Pontiac Silverdome, city of Detroit. But the demand for this game is there, and these tickets are selling. They're coming down a little bit, but again, the highest ticket price in NFL history that is a non-Super Bowl game. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy how far the Detroit Lions have come. I think we have this conversation about something different every day, and this time it's just about the ticket prices going to see the Detroit Lions play the Commanders, who they're an okay team, but they're not worth the highest tees ever. It just speaks to what the Lions are.
It'll be fun to watch them, though.
It will, but
I get to watch them.
I also think the Washington Commanders are the team that garners, and I hate the word garners for whatever reason, even though I just used it. The Washington Commanders garner a lower ticket price than if it was the Packers, the Rams, or the Vikings.
Probably.
I mean, if it was one of those 3 teams as your opponent, you can even go.
Next week will
forget
be
it.
The next highest paid. It would be the highest.
Yeah.
Next week.
100%.
100%.
It's not even up for debate.
Yep.
That is the 3:00 game. The Lions will play. If you're planning ahead, not to look past Washington, but if you are planning ahead, the Lions do play the Sunday 3:00 game.
How do you know?
Because it is alternating every year.
I thought if let's just say let's say the Chiefs lose, which ain't going to happen. You think they're going to put the Texans versus the Ravens and Bills at night?
It is. The AFC game is the CBS game 6:30.
Got it.
And the Fox 3 o'clock game is the NFC
That's
Championship
locked in every
game.
other
It's
year,
locked in every other
Okay.
year.
Got it.
In fact, I already think let me see. If you go to ESPN.com, if they have that future schedule, I even think it says 3 o'clock on Fox. But either way, so Brady Quinn coming up momentarily. We'll talk to him about the Irish and Ohio State. Is that a thumbs up that he's there?
Oh no, I was agreeing with you. It does say 3 p.m. on Fox on ESPN. Sorry,
thank you. But again, talking about these college football playoff matchups too. Brady's here.
He just popped up.
Your thumbs up is killing me.
He just popped. What am I supposed to do?
I watch it from here sometimes, and I'm like, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what the heck he
You
is
don't
doing.
understand what
man.
happened.
You're
You don't
the
understand what
greatest.
happened. I'm just saying he popped up literally in that second that I had tossed it back to you. Is what
Pete,
I
I
was
never
trying to say.
know what your hand lingos are, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, somebody getting towed. Got a tow situation out here.
Oh yeah.
It's not easy again, is it?
Who are they coming to
I don't think it is.
I'm parked over here. I'm like, who are they coming to tow?
Everybody's
towing
looking
my
to see if
little
their
Fiesta.
car is
That's all I
getting
care
towed.
Leave my Fiesta.
Oh, is he leaving?
That Bob Adams towing, he's got no heart. I'll tell you right now. He has no heart.
Any man named Bob Adams.
He's got the signs all over this area. He has got no heart.
Where we are, we have the.
I got told by him a
remember
couple
that?
years ago.
We've got the
on Thanksgiving.
We've got the street side studio here on the first floor of 15 in Woodward in Birmingham, and I look over to my right, and Braylon freaking jumps up from the desk one day, and he just runs outside, and I'm looking at him like, where's he going? What's he doing? And Brady was getting towed. He's trying. No, I think you're fine, Bray. It's not you this time. It's not you.
It's not you. It's me.
He looked but he ran out of the studio and
It was too late by then. It was already on there. Last time it was on the gurney. He was like, no, wait, stop. I think I'm good.
then those tow guys, man.
I got news for you. Even if you ran out there, you ain't
No,
giving
they
you a
got
break.
no heart.
Well,
Heart.
if you grease the palm.
Yeah, if you grease them, that's
grease
about
the
He
it.
palm.
tried. He was like, hey, here's a couple $100. The guy's like, no, I can't.
Had to go around the court. They had my truck all through Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving because it's a break. I
It's a
drove you
holiday.
there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They got your plate
Oh, my gosh.
on Easy Pass.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
so it was a rental. Oh, that's what it was. It was a rental car.
Yeah, I remember.
So if it's a rental car, the company has to call. It was crazy.
And then they said, Braylon, you're like, then I drive Braylon to the rental car or the tow place, and he's like, can I get a couple of things out of the car? They're like, well, we need to see your registration. Like, it's in the car.
in the car, right?
Like,
It's a
sorry,
rental
sir,
car.
we can't let you in. Guys, let's go.
To a man who never gets his car towed.
Right. He's never gotten his car towed before. NFL, college football analyst for Fox Sports. 2 pros and a cup of Joe. Fox Sports Radio. The great Brady Quinn. How are you, BQ?
I'm doing well, guys, but that's not true. I have had my car towed. In fact, that was actually the only time I was ever ineligible. Was before my senior year. I got to meet with the professor. He told me I could park in this one spot. And so I go meet with the professor. As I'm sitting there, someone runs in there like, hey, your car is getting towed. So we run out, try to talk to the tow truck company. And you guys know, like, once it's up, once the back wheels are off the
It's a
ground,
wrap.
it's over. It's a wrap. Like, you're not getting a discount. You're paying full price.
Yeah.
So I didn't have enough cash on me. The professor's like, I'll take care of this. So I move on with my day, go to the facility, and then Charlie Weiss calls me up. He's reaming me out, saying how I should have known this, and now I've got to make a donation to a charity and the amount or whatever to get back eligible again. So, of course, I ended up donating to Hannah and Friends, his charity that was named after his daughter, in order to get eligible to play again that week.
That is awesome.
That has to be some NCAA violations going on. We had a teacher pay your tow truck, then you pay your coach's daughter. What's going on in Notre Dame?
I don't know. That was actually the way that our compliance office was like, no, in order to get eligible again, you have to make a donation of an equal amount to a nonprofit. And so that's how it all worked out. But in the end, I think Charlie Weiss benefited the most of all that.
I'm glad you got off the hook in that situation. BQ, we'll get right to it. Notre Dame, Ohio State, it's a national championship. Congratulations to your Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They made it in the playoff of 12. I think I want to start here, BQ. start of the season, lose to Northern Illinois at home as an alum. You know, I know you, probably some other some other alums, if you will. You guys are probably thinking, what the hell is going on? This is just my thoughts. To get from that spot to this spot where you're now contending against Ohio State, you went through the gauntlet of the playoff of 12. What was the thought process, and did you ever waver on Marcus Freeman, who your tweet says it all?
Well, look, the reality is a year ago, they lost the home opener to Marshall. And it's one thing if maybe you stumble somewhere along the way, but when you lose your home opener, like where you should be having players running with their hair on fire out of that tunnel for the first time in front of a home crowd, to have that happen 2 years in a row to an inferior opponent, it leaves some scars and it leaves you questioning things. So I think the biggest step for not only the team, but Marcus too as a head coach, was the response where, they didn't allow any of the losses, early on like that bother them like I think it did last year's team as compared to this year's team. They fought through it. They won out. They made their way into the playoff, had to host a game, obviously, because that's the rules. And they've dominated for the most part. I mean, you go back to and just watch the second half of that game versus Penn State. They were able to make some adjustments. They were able to respond and come back. And that's been the story of the season. This team's beat up. I mean, bottom line is the offensive line, D-line, our best quarterback, Ben Morrison, he's been out for a while now. He'll be a first-round pick, a second-round pick at a minimum. They've fought through adversity. They've had this next man up mentality, and they've been the type of team that really just responds to adversity and has been able to hold each other accountable. So it's been a remarkable run. It's weird to say that when you've got a Notre Dame team that's a blue blood, because you don't look at them as a team that can have like a Cinderella run. But it's felt a little bit like that for a lot of us that follow the team and just understand that you're on your third left tackle potentially going into the national championship game, and yet guys keep stepping up game after game.
Yeah, right. It is a bit of a Cinderella one if you're just watching on the outside in. You watch as an outside and casual fan, and you see them lose at the openers 2 years in a row. You look at Notre Dame as a team that they'll be there at the end, but you haven't closed in the end. It's one of those schools where they made it to the national championship 2012, but I don't think anybody really thought that Notre Dame had a chance to win against the Alabama team. They've been to the playoffs a couple of times. Like, yeah, they're a really good team, but I don't know if they could beat an Alabama. I don't know if they could beat that Clemson or Georgia team. This is a Notre Dame team where I'm like, damn right. In fact, Ryan Ermanni picked them to win a national championship before we even got to the playoff of 12. So we believe in this team. I just want you to talk about Riley Leonard a little bit. It's something about him. Obviously the passing yards, he doesn't have the most. He's not competing with the Cam Wards. But that leadership, man, that excitement that he brings to the field, he brings a passion that I think excites that Notre Dame field and really gets them going on offense and defense.
Yeah, he's tough too. I mean, gritty, tough player, good leader. He's played a lot of football, and I think he's probably made the biggest jump from that Northern Illinois loss to now. And so you got to give him a lot of credit for the way he's been able to respond, even just to mistakes within games. You talk about the lack of passing. That's been a concern. And honestly, versus a team like Ohio State, you're probably going to have to throw the football around a little bit in order to be able to win this game just because of how potent their offense is. But even after the 2 interceptions last week, he responded. He seems to be able to make the play when his team needs him to the most. And we've seen the toughness and the grittiness and all those things. So he's been, obviously incredibly dynamic running the football. And I think this game, he's going to have one of the best games of his career. I think in order to beat an Ohio State defense that's healthy, that's going to be a really tough matchup, for us from a personnel standpoint, but also just from a schematic standpoint with everything that they can do up front. And guys like Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau who can get after it off the edge.
Hey, Brady, how do you think this college football playoff has worked out? I mean, if it was under last year's rules of the 4-team playoff, I'm not sure Ohio State or Notre Dame would have made the playoffs, and here they are playing for a national championship.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that that's how it works. And even going back to the initial 4-team playoff, remember Ohio State had to win that Big Ten championship game convincingly versus Wisconsin with Cardale Jones in order to leapfrog both TCU and Baylor, who at the time the Big 12 didn't have their conference championship game. So it was the big performance by Ohio State in that Big Ten championship versus Wisconsin that leaped them over both TCU and Baylor, who dropped from 4 and 5 out of the playoff altogether in the very first year. And it just so happens that Ohio State goes on and runs the table there in the playoff and wins a national championship. So it's a bit ironic that it's worked out that way. And there's not many occasions like that. I mean, I guess you could go back to TCU, kind of had that Cinderella story season too, and they made it to the national championship game. But this is one where I think if there's a criticism for the seeding, it's going to be the fact that they're either not reseeded after the first round of those home playoff games, or just in general. Like, you can't look at the top 4 teams and have some of those teams then playing in the first round if you feel like they're probably the 4 best and they earn the bye. So something's probably got to be done there. But that being said, there's a lot of teams, and if you look at the first round, every team that won their home playoff game won the next round. So maybe it's too long of a layoff for some of those teams that received that bye, and they've got to look at the college football calendar a little bit and figure out a way to not have such a long layover for some of those teams that aren't playing a home playoff game.
Hey, Brady, you would probably know this better than anybody, but the word out there was Brian Kelly left Notre Dame because he felt there was no way Notre Dame could ever win a national championship, and he wanted to go to a place where they could win a national championship. What did Marcus Freeman do in order to get Notre Dame back to a national championship game, and what do you think Brian Kelly is thinking right now?
Well, he's trying to walk those comments back now from everything that I've seen that's been reported, right? He's recruited a lot of the players on each side of the ball in the roster, and he's going to be rooting for them and all this stuff, and he's trying to walk back the fact that he didn't say he couldn't win a championship, just won a different challenge. It's like, well, yeah, that's a few years after the fact in hindsight when you realized, yeah, maybe you would have been in a better spot had you stayed at Notre Dame. But that being said, I think the biggest difference is, Marcus is so genuine with the way he approaches the team. And you could see how excited the team was when it was announced he was going to become the head coach. And I think one of the things that he's done is he's really embodied what it means to be the head coach at Notre Dame, where he hasn't shied away from the tradition. He hasn't shied away from the history and some of the things that, we used to do. I mean, we used to go to pregame mass and we'd go on a walk from the Basilica to the stadium. That was not there under Brian Kelly. Marcus Freeman brought that back. That was a big deal to him. He converted to Catholicism. And you look at the way he's been able to kind of open up Notre Dame to everywhere out there in the masses and kind of show what this program's all about, show who he is. And I think it's reflected in the manner in which he's recruited. It's reflected in the manner of the staff that he's built and the way they've been able to develop players. I mean, that's highlighted more than anything else right now. Look at how many backups and guys who've stepped up into big spots. I mean, Leonard Moore, their freshman cornerback's a freshman All-American. He's stepping into the big shoes left behind Ben Morrison. I mean, you can look across the field, you'll find different players who are younger players who've developed over the course of the year and now thrust into significant roles because of injury. So I think those are a couple of things that stand out the most. But the reality is, Marcus Freeman has kind of displayed, I think, this genuine personality that a lot of people look at and say, I want to root for that guy. He's a likable guy.
You took the words right out of my mouth. He's the most likable coach I've ever seen, and it's even making me root for Notre Dame. And I'm a Michigan guy here. So I wanted to ask you about Notre Dame. I've been complaining for years and years, just like everyone else. When are you going to join a freaking conference?
They're not, man.
I mean, really.
Why would we?
Why
would
not?
we? Look how much money they've made this playoff. They made $35 million right now. They have to keep it all for themselves. Why would you ever join a conference unless one of two things happens? That's either that it's dictated to you that you can no longer play for a national championship, or financially, you can't make it work. You don't have a TV network that's going to be able to pay you for your home games, and you're not able to find some sort of affiliation for the other sports outside of football. So there's no reason that Notre Dame should ever join a conference when they're able to go on a run like this and make $35 million, maybe more. And who knows, after the licensing agreement and all the apparel, logo, all this stuff sold, I mean, they are making money hand over fist. Why would you ever join a conference if this is the landscape that you're dealing with?
Well, I guess the NCAA just lets them do what the hell they want because they're not a powerful organization. I just don't think it's fair. They're just sitting there and, they're going to not play a conference championship game where another team has to play a conference championship game. I just don't think I don't think the cards are stacked right, personally.
Did Ohio State have to play in a conference championship game to get there?
No, but this year they got away with it.
Well, there's a lot of teams that got away with it. I mean, there's a lot of teams. I mean, look, we gave a bye to a Mountain West champion this year. I mean, did they qualify for it? I mean, we can go through every single year and rank strength of schedule. I would imagine Notre Dame is going to stack up to the best with most of them because we're everyone's best non-conference game. So that's the reality of it. And if I'll go a step further, if you were to look at the state of college athletics right now, every other school, every other blue blood, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, whoever you want to throw in the conversation, football has ruined all other college athletics because of the greed for the money. What they should have done was have all the big programs break off as independents. Allow the Pac-12 to still exist. Allow every conference to still exist, so we're not having USC fly across the country to play a softball game versus Rutgers. How does that make any sense?
No,
like,
it doesn't.
When you break it down, the model that Notre Dame is showcasing right now is honestly what the model should have been for all football programs. And we probably wouldn't have been in this big mess and this conference realignment where we have these massive conferences. And now one of the issues that you get with the massive conferences, look at Indiana's strength of schedule. They played the weakest Big Ten schedule of everyone this year. They only have one loss, so they get in, and then Notre Dame drums them. And then people are saying, well, should they have gotten in the first place? Well, it's hard to play some of the best teams when you got an 18-team conference.
Right.
So the reality is most schools would have been able to broker their own TV rights deal and figure this out as an independent, just like Notre Dame when you're talking about some of the blue bloods, to then form a new league, new conference, whatever you're going to call it, and not impact all the other sports that are out there in college athletics.
Well said, man. So everyone should be an independent. I'm with you. Let's go. Let's break it off. But this college football playoff, do you think it's ruined a Michigan versus Ohio State game at the end on Thanksgiving weekend?
Oh, it's a tough question to answer because, I've been a part of it. I grew up, here in Columbus, Ohio, watching it and being and seeing just the impact that it has on both Michigan and Ohio State fans. And I think if you play multiple times, it takes away a little bit from the how meaningful that game is as a regular season game. That being said, though, you look at a year like this year and, ultimately, they don't see each other again. And so you have Ohio State who then flips a switch after that game and looks like the best team in the country, and yet they still have this cloud hanging over their head because Michigan beat them, right? Like it feels like no matter what Ohio State fans want to say, it's not going to feel like the 2014 national championship. It's just not. They beat Michigan that year. They won a national championship. They checked all the boxes, right? They won the Big Ten. They checked all the boxes. They didn't win the Big Ten. They didn't beat Michigan. They may have the national championship, but it's not going to feel quite the same as some of those other years. So I don't know how many are willing to admit that, but that's the truth. I grew up in this rivalry. I've lived through, I've seen it. That's how this season will be remembered if indeed Ohio State can win Monday night.
Davis, Warren beat them. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, do you mind?
No, please.
Oh, yep, thank you, Ryan. Brady, pleasure to talk to you, KG in the sound booth. And to kind of bring it to the NFL, because I know Braylon might, bring it back to college football. Us Lions here, we got a big matchup this week against the Washington Commanders. And I just wanted to get your take on, what the Lions look like right now. And if you think that we can actually, make it to the Super Bowl and win it.
Oh, without a doubt. I think Detroit's looked like the best team in the NFC. And I think if you're comparing NFC to the AFC, it's a much easier path, I'd say, going through the NFC. The shame is the fact that the team's not healthy, or at least they don't have all their weapons, right? It would have been awesome to be able to see a guy like Aiden Hutchinson out there, too, as a part of this. But I digress. It's a tough matchup. Washington's one of those hot teams that they're kind of playing with house money, right? First-year head coach, rookie quarterback. They don't know what they don't know. They don't know how hard it is to get to the playoffs and even win a game and start to go on a run. I think Detroit Lions fans can tell you how hard that is. So there's this, I think a little bit of a sense of just playing free, playing loose, kind of throwing caution to the wind. Whereas Detroit, who obviously got so close last year, you look at this year, it's all the pressure's on them. They're the one hosting the game. They're the number one overall seed. They're the one that has all the pressure to see if indeed they can get to the Super Bowl and win one. Whereas Washington, it feels like they're way ahead of schedule. I don't know that anyone thought they'd be here at this point with the way Jaden Daniels has played. And so defensively, it's a challenge. You can't play – Aaron Glenn can't play as much man-to-man coverage as he would like because Jaden Daniels can take off at any moment, whether that's design quarterback run or just drop-back passing game. So it limits some of what they're going to be able to do defensively. And then on the flip side, look up front, Washington's got some world beaters up front. That group can get after Detroit's offensive line. Goff could be under duress. He hasn't played his best football under duress. So this is not going to be a cakewalk of a game. Yes, they have rest. Yes, they have extra preparation. But we've also seen years where the team that plays in the wild card round gets hot and all of a sudden they make a run.
Bray, let me ask you about that quarterback in Jaden Daniels. Look, the Lions fans, they know that they feel as though they can beat anybody. It doesn't matter who they play in the NFC. It doesn't matter who they play in the Super Bowl. The Lions are going to win. But I think deep down inside, there's a little bit of nervousness about Jaden Daniels because of how good he is and how poised he is as a rookie quarterback. You've been in the space of being a rookie in this NFL. How special was his season? We've seen RG3 maybe had a season like this. Andrew Luck, from the standpoint of just being mature, how special was the season to you as a former rookie quarterback in the NFL?
It was incredible. I mean, looking at what he's been able to do, and credit to him, credit to Cliff Kingsbury, and just their staff there too. Look, I think when you have a dual threat quarterback, again, it makes some things a little easier on you. You're not going to see the variety of looks that I was going to see as a drop back passer, just because of the different things they could do with their coverage to roll their coverage to take a guy like you away. Well, again, when you have to account for the quarterback, you can't spend an extra guy in coverage on a receiver like Braylon. So it changes up, what defenses can do and what they're going to see. But, you talk about his poise. I always felt like the guys who are really dynamic runners, and Jaden is that. I mean, he showed it as a Heisman Trophy winner, and then you saw it this year. But they just always have this sense of poise because they know they've got the trump card in their back pocket where if they get outside and break contain, like it doesn't matter what the play call was, a new play begins, and then they're going to be tough to tackle. They're going to be tough to stop. So I've been incredibly impressed with him and really just his journey from Arizona State to LSU and how much he improved over that time and how much he continues to improve as well. So sky's the limit for this young man. He's going to be the offensive rookie of the year, and he's going to be a player that I think is going to compete in the NFC East for years to come.
Brady, I appreciate that shout-out right there, man. Appreciate that shout-out. They've been talking about the MVP for about the last 6 weeks or so. Is it going to be Josh Allen? Is it going to be Lamar? I'm going to switch gears just for a brief second. What have you seen, and why should it be either?
Well, I think I'd make more of a case for Lamar than Josh Allen. And the case for Josh Allen, it feels like the media almost wanted to anoint him earlier this year after, one of those big primetime games. The specific game is escaping me at the moment, but statistically speaking, Lamar's been better. Head-to-head, Baltimore beat him earlier in the season. And I think it's almost like Lamar's his own his own issue here because the media doesn't want to give him another MVP. Even though, he looks to be one of the best. And I think the other thing is people will make the case, well, hey, he's got Derrick Henry in the backfield. Look how great Derrick Henry is. That's true. But, you listen to some of the different broadcasts, and Greg Olsen mentioned this a few weeks ago. Defensive coordinators are basically game planning to tell them, no, force Lamar to give the ball to Derrick Henry on zone reads. Like, we don't want Lamar keeping the football. We'd rather try to tackle and handle Derrick Henry. So as much as we want to make the case that, hey, it's Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, that's why it looks so good. No, it's the same guy we saw last year, but putting up even better stats on a team that looks to be poised to get back to the conference championship game and potentially a Super Bowl and get over that hurdle. I mean, that's been the monkey on the back for Lamar Jackson. It's like we know how good they are in the regular season. Can they get in the playoffs and can they do something there where he's traditionally struggled? And I think this is going to be that year where it looks different to me because, again, Buffalo didn't have those high expectations. I think they got in the season. Things started going well. They trade for Amari Cooper, and you're like, okay, now maybe we do have a shot to do something. I think they're going to have a really hard time stopping Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. And I think it's going to be Baltimore and Kansas City playing in the conference championship once again.
Hey, Brady, last one from me. I'm just to go back to college football for a second. And I saw your colleague Joel Klatt tweet about this the other day. 17 million viewers for Notre Dame and Penn State. I think it was 20 million viewers for Ohio State and Texas. These are blue bloods of blue bloods in the game's history. Why are they so low? Is it because this season just goes on and on and on? Do they need to end this January 1st or January 8th? What is it?
No, it's ESPN. If you want me to be very blunt, it's ESPN wanting to put and stage one of the biggest games in the college football season on a Thursday night, and then do it on a cable channel and not ABC, and then put it on a Friday night. I mean, look, the reality is you got to pick your poison here because if you're going to go up against the NFL this time of year, you have to battle against them in Wild Card Weekend on a Saturday, which is really where these games should be played. But because ESPN has the exclusive rights, they don't want to do that. They control it. So instead of it being 27 million like it was a year ago for the semifinal, especially with Blue Bloods in a very tight game that comes down basically to a last-second field goal, you're looking at it going like, all right, well, we get 17 million instead. So I would actually say Disney or ESPN has as much to do with this as anything else. And they'll make excuses about it, and someone will probably push back. But the reality is they need to figure out a way of working out this calendar and working out the schedule to get back to Saturdays. Put this thing on a broadcast network where it should be and not on a cable channel. I'm sorry. And by the way, 7:30, I mean, I was down there for that game in South Florida. There was so much traffic from rush hour that it was hard to get the crowd in there in time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, push it to 8:30. Maybe they don't think the West Coast is going to watch because they feel like college football is a regional sport, or they just don't feel like, hey, these are two East Coast teams or a Midwest and East Coast teams, so no one's going to watch. But I think ESPN has done a disservice to college football. As much as they build it up and they build on the traditions and do a great job storytelling, the way they've controlled and handled the college football playoff, they've actually slowed the growth of it, in my opinion.
What is the bet between you and Urban Meyer?
You know, it's funny. I don't have a bet. I don't have a bet with Urban. I've got a bet with AJ.
Okay.
AJ likes bourbon, so it'll be best bottle of bourbon that he wants, and then.
But I'm sure
I'm
sure you get to share it with him, though, right? If
I'm not really a bourbon guy. I'm more of a whiskey, more of scotch. Like I'm not really a bourbon guy. I don't know why. I've never really gotten into it. So I'll let him have his bourbon. But I told him, I was like, I said when Notre Dame wins, we get to go to a golf club that he's a member at, which he very rarely goes to. It's a little stuffy too. I'm not going to say the name, but I think that's part of it. That's part of it. So it's probably not what you're thinking, Braylon. It's probably a different one.
Okay.
But that's where we're going to go and golf together. So when Notre Dame wins.
Awesome.
Side note, before we let you go, BQ, man, 2006, you played in the Fiesta Bowl against A.J. Hawk and the Ohio State. And I just remember watching the game because I was in the league by then. And I said, is his sister wearing both jerseys? Brady's sister Laura is married to A.J. Hawk. So that was a cool jersey that she had. Look, man, last year and the years before that, you cheered for Michigan. You were happy that we won. So I wish you that same success on Monday. May Notre Dame win, man. Go Irish.
We're all Team
cheering
Irish
for you.
here. Yeah,
We
that's
all
right.
are.
We are all Team Irish here.
Boys. Thank you.
Thanks,
Go Irish.
Brady.
You got it.
I'll talk to you soon, BQ.
Brady Quinn, college football analyst, NFL analyst for Fox Sports, and of course, check him out on Fox Sports Radio. Thanks, Brady. We appreciate it. And that is that's great stuff. You know, college. I was just looking too, when we were talking about Marcus Freeman. College football coaches.
Yeah.
It's such a young man's game. Marcus Freeman, 39. Ryan Day, 45. Sharon Moore, 38. Dan Lanning, 39. The coach at Arizona State, his name escapes me right now, 34.
Well, you know what that is.
Kenny Dillingham, 34 years old. When I was 34 years old, I was like, I don't even want to tell you what I was doing at 34 years old.
Well, you know what that is.
I wasn't being serious about much, though, I'll tell you that.
It's the NFL. I mean, when you start hiring coaches like Sean McVay at 31 years old or 32, whenever he got hired, if the NFL, and I think that's what you look at it, if the NFL can have grown men, some older than Sean McVay, be coached, then why can't essentially they just left high school, but why can't college kids? And there will be more connectivity to have a young coach as opposed to having some coach that's storied and been there, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. And like Kirk Francis, it's only a couple of those Kirk Ferentz type coaches left in this game.
And even Kirby Smart is 49. I thought he was way older than that, but Kirby Smart is just 49 years old.
Franklin?
52. He's the elder statesman.
All right.
He seriously at 52. I think of Joe Paterno Joe Paterno, Lou Holtz,
Bobby
Joe Paterno was old.
Schembechler.
Bobby
Joe
Bowden.
Paterno was old when I was a kid.
Right. That's how college football used to be. Hayden Fry, Bobby Bowden, they all looked
But
like
those guys looked older too.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I saw on my X feed yesterday it was somebody posted a picture of Archie Bunker and Edith.
Oh yeah,
Bunker.
Yeah.
And it was Archie Bunker, 48 years old. Edith was 44.
And they look like they're 70.
Right? Both of them.
Even the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
they're all younger than Dorothy.
The Golden Girls, when that show was going on, they're the same age as the new version of Sex and the City.
Wow.
Think about what the Golden Girls looked like and what the Sex and the City girls look like now.
Well, it's amazing.
That was
it's a long roundabout way to get to college. Baby Bobby Bowden was 40 back then too. Maybe Joe Paterno was like
different.
38.
He was.
It looked different.
We don't know. Maybe they're just older
Bo
guys.
as well, right?
Hey, before we get to a break,
enough Golden Girls.
Before we get to a break, Quinn Ewers is declaring for the NFL draft.
I got thoughts on that.
Yeah, go for it. I think this is a really smart thing for him, actually.
Really?
Because
he's going to get
this
overdrafted.
is such a weak class.
Yeah.
It's such a weak class. I know you might get one more $4 million deal, or you could, potentially be a first-round pick. I don't think he's a first-round pick if he comes back next year, but he may be a first-round pick this year and probably is.
He can make $4 to $5 to $6 million though if he stays.
Yeah, that's true. But if you got a quarterback like Quinn Ewers, who we know is going to make some money somewhere, whether it's UNC, whether it's Texas, whether it's another school, not Texas, but somebody's going to pay him a good amount of money. When someone's turning that down, when someone's declaring, it's a weak class. It's a weak class, and they figure after those two, that being Shedeur and Cam Ward, who's next?
It's wide open.
Who's next? It's wide open, and you look at maybe.
Especially if you think of the 6 quarterbacks in the first 11 picks last year.
Yeah.
And he's made good money. Quinn Ewers made money at Ohio State for doing nothing. He's made money at Texas the last 2 years, and that's some of the best money in the country, that oil money. So he's made good money. He now wants to get into the NFL. And if it's a chance to get in the first round, do it now. This is your best opportunity because there are teams that need quarterbacks. He would probably hit this year, go into the first round. Yeah. You get on the team, and you see what happens from there. You never know.
I get it, man, but he's been saying, or his people have been saying, he's going to transfer again. Mm-hmm. And I really believed he would. And
he can't stay at Texas probably. It's almost like a John Calipari at Kentucky situation. You couldn't stay. John Calipari at Kentucky got a lot of flack for having the one and dones. Yeah. But you couldn't stay. Yeah. You had no choice. Right. You had to go to the NBA because he recruited Braylon Edwards to be a one and done. And you know what he just did? He just replaced Braylon Edwards next year on next year's roster too. So if Braylon wanted to come back for a sophomore year, he could not. He had to go to the NBA. Transferring was not an option back then in the transfer portal. And those kids were replaced. And same with Quinn Ewers. If he wanted to stay at Texas, he could not stay at Texas.
Yeah,
I'm
realized
steadfast in that.
I realized that. I thought it would have been a good thing for him to go somewhere else and try to win.
But also, too, now you got to go somewhere and start all over again. Now you got to once again prove that you're the reason the team is successful. So now you really put yourself back on the chopping block. What if you go to a team and you're not good? What if you go to a team and they're not good? Now people can really put your game and analyze it for what it is and find all the flaws. Like at Texas right now, we can consider him a first-round pick based on how weak this class is. But I've seen enough. All right, cool, draft him in the first round, whatever. He'll be another one of these busts along the way. But if he goes back to school, he could get injured.
Yep.
He can get major injury could befall him, or
put bad team
he can just go to a bad team and not be good.
He played with a bad shoulder this year. That's why we didn't see the best of him. We saw him against Michigan. I was at that game, and I looked at him, and I'm like, man, this kid's the real deal. And then he kind of disappeared for the rest of the season. But he got Texas there.
Well, get that shoulder together and get ready for this combine and get ready for whenever you
That's
throw.
What agents are for, right?
100%. Agent's going to shoot you straight. And I had my agent – I interviewed agents before I came out in my senior year because I was trying to say – I almost left pause my junior year. And I interviewed agents. I said, what's the best move? What should I do? Only one agent told me that you should come out. You should really come out. You should leave. Maybe two. And those guys really just wanted the money. They wanted to get me out that year. I would have been the end of the first round, beginning of the second. I have another guy on the roster, and then my second contract, they make their money. But the majority of them said, hey, look, go back. Like, you could really benefit from going back. Agents are going to shoot you straight for the most part because it's about that pocket.
And Lloyd told you, oh, you're coming back? All right, I guess you can.
Well, I guess. Okay, Braylon.
Reverse psychology at its finest.
Dante, 151, $10 super chat. Tigers have agreed to a $3.1 million deal with Dominican outfielder Chris Rodriguez.
He's the real deal,
the number 4 prospect on the International Prospects Top 50 list.
That's what I'm trying to hear.
Brady Quinn also got screwed by the Cleveland Browns. Braylon, do you have any insight on Brady getting screwed by the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, everybody did. That's part of the franchise and who they were for years upon years. Kevin Stefanski is a great coach, but the organization up top, they still suck. It was the same. He really never gave him an opportunity. Threw him in there in some wildfire and had no rushing game. They had no direction. They had no identity. And then you bring in Bob Pettin, who was the defensive coordinator with the Jets, who knew nothing about being a head coach, and they bombed after that. So, yeah, he did get a raw deal in Cleveland. He could have been a much much better career. I'm sure he's not complaining about it, but I will complain for him.
Jason Kenyon, $5 super chat, just jumped in and out of Washington talk. I wonder what they're talking about down there. Well, Jason says they think they have us beat only because they beat Tampa and we got cute and lost to Tampa.
How long ago was
special.
that?
Week
That was
two.
week 2.
How long ago was that?
I was at that game.
You were there?
Yeah, that Tampa
Baker
game.
Mayfield.
That was a horrible game by the Lions.
That
That was
was-
the worst coach game in Dan Campbell's history.
That was game 2 of the
Yes,
preseason.
and the worst game for Goff. And then he blossomed from there.
They the same thing that they did in the Chicago Bears game that they almost lost at the end. Keyword almost. They sucked in the red zone. They were 0-for-5
Yep.
against the Bucs. They were 0-for-7 against the Bucs and 0-for-5 against the Bears.
Yeah.
And that's when they won 23-26. That's when the Lions suck, is when they can't get in that red zone.
Right.
That's when they.
and they kicked the field goal from the 3-yard line, which was so not Dan Campbell.
Yeah,
I told
but
you right then and there.
If you look at that
wasn't
Bucs
his
game, we dominated every other team.
Yeah, we doubled-
the first-
doubled the
time of
yards.
possession,
Yeah,
yardage,
100%.
all that. Like,
First 3 games were, and that's why I got to give Maz and you a lot of credit, Ryan. The preseason, you guys
Yep.
stuck to preseason. You know me, I'm like, preseason. I was like, don't give me that. I need you to look something like you did. But it really was a preseason for them. In that Rams game, they looked a little bit shaky. They win in overtime. They lose the Tampa Bay game, and once again looked super shaky in the red zone. And then even the Seattle game, now that's when they started to. There still were a couple calls in there where you were like, what's Dan fully thinking? And then I think game 4 is when it clicked, and then we went on that ride. First 3 games definitely were preseason games.
Washington radio is they're on us. I mean, they think they have a shot to win this game. Good for them.
You know, and-
they have no shot,
and-
but good for them.
And again, it just goes back to the quarterback, though.
Yeah,
I mean, the
same.
mobile quarterback, he's a special player. I do feel like Washington's a year or 2 away, but definitely at least 1 year away from truly competing. We're going to get into the numbers in just a little bit, but just the one spot where the Detroit Lions could really exploit the Washington Commanders, there's no doubt about it. I want to get to this. Rich says, Rich Baldwin, Donovan cost himself money by coming back to U of M. I'm not sure if he did or not. I don't think he could have gone last year, Donovan Edwards, in the draft, Braylon. What do you think? Could he have gone last year? I don't think so.
So this is, yes, he's correct.
Jim Harbaugh would have took him
Like,
in the 3rd or 4th round.
He's 100% correct, because if Jim didn't, somebody else would. Like, you're talking about Donovan Edwards capitalizing on the momentum that he had on that 3-year run, where he could start off as a freshman. He's passes out of the backfield. He has the best hands on the team. He also is probably the best quarterback on the team to the sophomore year where he almost beat TCU, and he's running wild with Blake Corum, and he actually had to step in for Blake Corum and win that Ohio State game, if you guys don't remember.
Yep.
Then to the very next year, Blake takes over again, but now Donovan still, he's doing his thing.
had
And
the
then
moments in the playoff.
100%. And the big moments is when he showed up. And that's a main thing that coaches look at. Like, that's really not the main thing, but that's a huge thing that coaches look at. And every big moment, whether it's Ohio State, whether it's Washington and national championship, Donovan Edwards was there. Donovan Edwards could have been a 3rd round. He could have been he could have been as high as a 2nd round pick last year.
Really?
100%.
I believe that.
Because he's gonna run fast.
Yeah.
He's gonna run fast as well. Like, he could have been as high as a 2nd round pick
National
last year.
championship
he,
game, man.
he could be somebody's poor man's Jahmyr Gibbs.
Right.
They could be somebody's poor man Jahmyr Gibbs last year, 2nd round. This year, another injury. Now you kind of got exposed because the offensive line wasn't that good. So
And
people
quarterback.
want
And
true.
Khalil Mullins took your spot. Let's
and
just be
he
real
got his
about it.
spot ran.
Yeah.
So
You converted defensive player.
he's 100% correct. Last year would have been the best year for Donovan Edwards.
It's curious to see what happens to him this year,
He's
too. I mean, he had a terrible year,
he's
but
fifth,
everybody did. But will he get selected?
5th round.
Yeah. He'll have a good combine.
Like, if he has a great combine, he can be a low 4th round pick.
Really?
He has a great combine. He's a low 4th. If not, the highest he can expect is a 5.
Yeah.
Like, look at what Donovan Peoples-Jones did.
Yeah.
There's similar players in my book in terms of what they did at Michigan. DPJ just didn't have the national championships in the Big Ten. DPJ had an amazing combine. He went 4th round.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break. We went an entire hour there. No commercial interrupted. So we're going to pay some bills right now. And then we'll come back. Lions, NFL, the rest of the way. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Your fitness is essential, and Planet Fitness understands that. So come on down, because they got fitness that fits into your budget. Well, has fitness that fits into your budget. With over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations, it's a gym for you. Everybody's pulling up to that purple and yellow. Squeaky clean gyms are what they feature. Also, trainers with every single membership. And the best thing about it is it's no judgment. So you come on down, you work out at your own pace, you do the exercise that you want to do. No matter how crazy they are, nobody's judging you. I'm not. So come on down to Planet Fitness, because your fitness is and always will be essential.
And celebrate that good workout with a good shot of tequila afterwards, man. 1800 Tequila is the official tequila Woodward Sports Lions watch parties and the post-game show. Join 1800 Tequila and Woodward Sports every single Lions playoff game live at Gillies downtown, and celebrate the wins with smooth 1800 Tequila. Proud sponsor of your Detroit Lions, the best taste in tequila, 1800 Tequila. Please drink responsibly.
And let me tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. New year, new car. How about a new you in a new car? Les Stanford Buick GMC, here for you. Get a 2025 Hummer EV SUV for 24 months, 10,000 miles a year, only $699 a month, just $1999 down. Or a 2025 GMC Sierra 1500 Crew Cab, 24 months, 10,000 miles a year, only $359 per month. Sign and drive, no down payment required. GM discount required for both. Get to Les Stanford today, or click on the QR code on the screen and check out our massive inventory. There is no QR code, so I'm going to get this.
Put your own in there. Put your own up there.
What's that?
Wait,
well, yeah, okay.
We're waiting on them to give us a new one.
Okay, well, we'll just cancel it out and then the
great.
read. How about that? I was there today at Les Stanford Buick GMC in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue. Hope to see you there soon. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com. Together, let's drive.
Here's a QR code for you.
There you go. And you can drive on it, and they don't even need one. And Lady Jane's, we take the chore out of getting a haircut. I got a haircut today, too.
Hey,
My
shout
girl
out.
Bethany.
Use
My
it on
goodness.
the sponsors,
Full
okay.
day today taking care of the sponsors. Lady Jane's, we take the chore out of getting a haircut. Our talented stylist will deliver an industry-leading haircut, relaxing scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The Detroit Lions are in the playoff push.
Guys, I'm so freaking proud of you, man. That's the way to show up.
And Woodward Sports is your official, unofficial Lions network. Make sure you wake up every day with Wake Up Woodward, followed by Big D Energy, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, and of course the heavyweights. Detroit's #1 destination for all your grits and Lions coverage. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Back-to-back NFC North Division champions. The Detroit Lions are playoff bound and ready to eat the kneecaps of anyone standing in our way. Follow Woodward Sports as we cover the best season in Detroit Lions history. Go Lions!
Talk about pressure, we live in pressure. That's where we freaking thrive. You did it again.
From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, do not miss our expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Dr. Pierce joins us every Tuesday on Big D Energy. He's with us on Thursdays. Of course, trust the guy, D-Mac and Braylon trust. We all trust him. He's got that special sauce to keep you in the game. How about it? 248-426-9944. Check him out online as well at michigansportsandspine.com. And dreaming of a new home but feeling a financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, $5,000 right off the top. Call Mark White & Associates today, 248-290-8242. Hit him up online as well, markwhitesells.com. Again, Mark White & Associates, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
And head to shop.woodwardsports.com right now. Get yourself the latest and the greatest Detroit sports merch around. Check out that 2024 NFC Champions t-shirt that we have there. Also the Grit t-shirt as well. All new right now at shop.woodwardsports.com. We got your Red Wings, Tigers, and Pistons gear as well. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Head there right now for the latest and the greatest Detroit sports merch.
Daniels obviously has been a big part of their turnaround. Can you just talk about the challenge he presents at quarterback?
He is dangerous. He's dangerous. He poses a major threat. He does not play the position like a rookie quarterback. He's composed. He understands how to progress. He sees the field well. He can buy time with his legs. He's a dangerous runner. He's smart. He's smart. You can tell he understands how to run that offense, what they're asking him to do. And then he's got weapons. He's got weapons around him. I mean, his receiver's pretty dang good. 17's a hell of a player, He's got a good back. He's got more than one receiver. Ertz at tight end. I mean, they've got weapons. The O-line plays hard. But he's a difference maker.
There is no doubt Jaden Daniels is an absolute difference maker, and he is the reason, and no disrespect to the Washington Commanders football team, but he is the reason why this team won 11 regular season games and won a road playoff game against the division champion. It is Jaden Daniels, and that is the concern this weekend for the Detroit Lions. If you can stop him, it's a blowout.
That's a ball game.
I think the only concern is by the fans. It's damn sure not by Dan Campbell. When I watch this press conference, it reminds me of teams I've been on when the head coach is at a podium and he's just trying to find things to say about a team, and he's going through the rehearsed rhetoric. He's got that guy, Terry McLaurin. He calls guys by their number 17, so it wasn't a slight or anything like that. But, Maz, I think this team is in a relaxed state. I think when he looks at this, he knows that they have Jaden Daniels, but Jaden Daniels is indeed a rookie playing on a team that's not there yet.
Right.
And he knows that this defense, they called a rebirth when Alex Anzalone got back on that field last week, and that's going to only make it that much more difficult. And also, Jared Goff's done this in the playoff level. Jared Goff did this when he was with the Los Angeles Rams. Jared Goff did it last year. He went toe-to-toe with Matt Stafford. He went toe-to-toe with Baker Mayfield, came out on the other side. Like, this guy's proven Jaden's as good as he is. That rookie word is a real, true word. He is a rookie, and he's on a team where they got some holes. Dan Campbell looked very confident. He looked very comfortable behind the guys of talking about guys as in G-U-I-S-E.
Hey, listen, they got baggage on their backs, the Lions. He said last year in San Francisco, I don't know if we can get back here. Well, guess what? They're back here, one game away from being back to exactly where they were last year, except they'll be home. They're playing a Washington team that's a good young team. Won their last 5 games on the last possession of the game. It all started with that Bears game, the tip, and then they went from there. They know how to win. And this guy, Dan Quinn, has been in the Super Bowl. He made a mistake in the Super Bowl. Should have won that game. Should have run the damn ball instead of giving the ball back to Brady.
Is that now Kyle Shanahan's fault?
Well, it's both. He's the head coach.
The more we watch Kyle Shanahan in the big game.
Maybe.
Like, because you as an offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan, like, you keep running the ball.
Yeah.
Like, that's not
They
that
would have won
hard.
that game, 28-3. You
Yeah.
got to win that game.
Right.
Run the ball.
And,
Devontae Freeman was killing it.
Dan Quinn is a good coach, and look what he does. He goes on fourth down as well, guys. They're not the Lions' talent, but they got talent.
They're better percentage.
I got something for you on that.
Let's hear it.
Put this up. Look at these numbers, okay?
Look at this.
So this to me is one of the keys of the game. This is get off the field, okay? Which defense can get off the field? If you look at the third down conversion rate, it is nearly identical. Washington and Detroit. If you look at the fourth down, I've got it circled there. In the fourth down conversions this year, 20 of 23 are the Washington Commanders on fourth down this year. That is a clip that is about 90%, and that is number 5. That is all Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
That's what he can do. And I've got that circled because field goals are not going to win this game for Washington. Yeah. They are going to go for it probably more than they go for it normally, I would say. Dan Quinn's no dummy.
They
this
know
is a
they
playoff.
can't win on a field
They
goal.
are playing with house money right now. They barely made a chip shot to win the game.
Zane Gonzalez is hurt as well.
Absolutely. So they're going to go for it on fourth down a lot in this game. I would say the over-under on going for it is 3.5.
Yeah.
I'm saying they're going to at least go for 3, maybe 4 fourth downs. And if they convert, heaven forbid, all 4 of them, the Lions could be in for a lot tougher day than they anticipate.
The problem is all the teams they played this year where Jaden Daniels has had this success. Jaden Daniels had a phenomenal rookie campaign. But they played against a lot of undisciplined defenses. And what I mean by that, they're out of position. When Jaden Daniels get to scrambling around, there are lanes when you move across that, when you move around the backfield, when you move out of the pocket, there are lanes that you have to stay in as a defender, as a linebacker, as a defensive end, as a safety. There are areas. This is your designated area if you're to the field, et cetera, et cetera. The Lions are that disciplined because of Aaron Glenn, the best coordinator in the game. So I think that a lot of that success that he has, he won't be able to have that against the Lions because Kirby Joseph will be where he's supposed to be at. Alex Anzalone will be where he's supposed to be at.
Tampa's a good D, buddy.
You said what?
Tampa Bay, that's a hell of a defense they got over there. They beat them. They needed a turnover, but they beat them.
This is true. This is true, and I think that. But they got the turnover in, and they were tired. And down the stretch, Jaden Daniels made the play. Like, to your point, down that stretch, they were tired. They had just gotten off that field, Maz.
Yep.
Maz, they just got off the field. And Baker Mayfield gives them the ball, not in the red zone. He gave it to them on the 12. Yeah. So, to your point, they got in the end zone, but Baker Mayfield gifted Jaden Daniels that field position. Jaden Daniels didn't go 80 yards for that touchdown.
Did we have Zach Ertz on our team last year for the
did
final?
for a brief moment.
And he's over there now, and he's having a good year, a good renaissance year for Zach Ertz. And I worry about him. I do. Listen. They're going to beat Washington. They're a better team. If they're anywhere healthy in this game, they will win this game, and they should win it by 2 touchdowns. I'm not saying they're going to lose this game. I already got them in the freaking final. I already got them winning the Super Bowl. So I don't want to hear you guys arguing with me on the chat.
But
Washington is a lot better than we think they are.
I do feel like I just go back to last year, and I thought that the game against the Rams in the wild card round, I was a little bit more 50-50 on than the game against Tampa in the divisional round. I thought they would win that game a lot easier than they ultimately did, but I don't think that was...
It wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy, but I don't think the result was really ever in doubt. I kind of feel like... better than that Tampa game last year. I do feel so overconfident in this game, which I don't like either.
Right.
I don't like how confident I am about this week's game against Washington. We all are. And I think Braylon was right. It feels like the Lions are overly confident in this one, too. It feels like that a little bit when I hear them talk at the podium. Yeah, we're really excited about a new opponent and all that stuff.
Well, this coaching staff is not going to let them.
No, I understand.
They have nothing really to sow their oats about.
They've
never been to a Super Bowl.
Right.
All right, just say that. Look yourself in the mirror. Look at the history books. This team called the Detroit Lions have never been to a Super Bowl. you should not be overconfident against any team.
Here is an area that I think the Lions are absolutely going to exploit. And you could say, well, this one's easy, no doubt about it. But take a look at these numbers. The Lions run offense against Washington's run defense. The Lions, amongst the best in the NFL at rushing the ball 146 yards a game. Washington, second from the bottom. There are only 2 teams in the NFL that are worse at stopping the run than the Washington Commanders. They can't stop a nosebleed on the ground. And this is exactly what the Lions' identity is. Yeah. And that just speaks to me like, okay, this is the game right here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you get David Montgomery back as well, so that's double the dose. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs averaged almost 5 yards a carry, 4.6 yards a carry this year. Monty's right there, right with him. Just pound the ball down their throats.
Pause.
That's it. Pound the football down their throats.
Yeah,
and then guess what? There's going to be so many receivers open. They should put up 35 plus.
Yeah, this would be a game where you beat them up front. Like, this would be old school, beat them up front, run the ball, impose your will on that. You got your big bruiser back, and you got your stud running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, that's having a hell of a campaign since he's been gone. Also, your offensive line, get this thing going. You don't want to play the game as of not showing whoever you're going to play next round what you see. You want to just win. But at the same time, man, you beat these guys up front. This is how you punish them and get that defense to where they don't want to play. You get offensive linemen getting down on linebackers. Now you take the will out of their linebackers. This is what you want to do. Beat them up in that first quarter. You know, you can do some of the tricks and the gadgets and the things because this is who we are. Just beat them up. Run the ball, time of possession, get in and out of the game so that you can get ready for next week.
Don't give them any reason to think they could win this game.
Let me ask you guys a question. Lions' first offensive possession. Which running back's going out there?
Monty.
No, I'd say J-Mo.
Gibbs, you mean?
It's Gibbs. I'm tripping. I'd say Gibbs. That way, when you bring him in, there's an eruption. There's a roar. I think so.
All right.
Monty usually starts the game.
Yeah.
That's usually what happens.
Usually what
he
happens.
gets the first series, Gibbs gets the second.
But when Monty comes out there first, like they're all like the whole team's coming out together. Yeah. It's all 11 guys coming out for that series.
Put them both in.
When you bring them off the bench by itself, you know what that applause is for. Like, it's all about applause. It's about getting this place noisy again. I think you bring him in the game so that the crowd can cheer just for him.
Here's Dan Campbell, David Montgomery talking about how happy he is to be back.
Yeah, it's refreshing, kind of to be back in a position to where I can help the team. Yeah, I missed it, so I'm happy to be back.
He's happy to be back, and one of the things he's happy about is Jahmyr Gibbs in the elevated role that he had while Monty was out. Here's Monty talking about Jahmyr Gibbs.
I mean, he a dog. I mean, it's evident enough. You know, Josh is special. You know, he's generational talent, and I didn't expect anything less of him. So Josh gonna roll. I'm gonna just kind of, whatever he needs from me, I'm gonna make sure he has, but just kind of his show.
It's kind of his show. How great of a teammate is that? First and foremost, and not only about the running backs, but about the offensive line. Here's Monty on that Lions O-line.
Yeah, I think it's our identity. You know, we got the best O-line in the world. So, you know what I'm saying, being able to have those guys as, you know, reliant as they've been and resilient as they've been, like, I don't think they get enough credit. Like, there's no 1,000 yards scrimmage for me. There's no, you know, almost 2,000 yards scrimmage for Ja. Like, there's no 1,000 yards for Saint. None of these attributes or all of these accolades that everybody else is receiving on offense would be possible if it weren't for them guys up front. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think the run game is cool, but I think, like, at the end of the day, like, they ain't really got it's the boys up front. Like, they really the engine to this locomotive. So.
When it comes to Monty, I always go back to the press conference he did when he first became a Detroit Lion. I was always, all of us remember,
I'll do anything.
he was so excited to get out of Chicago, a dysfunctional organization, at least they were, it might still be. I think we saw a little bit of that with Eberflus this year, dysfunctional organization that didn't care as a team, had no identity. He came here and we saw what the Lions were building, and Maz, you just said it. He said, look, I'm just happy to be here. I don't care what goes on, who gets the ball. I don't care who's running, who's not, who's blocking. I'll go get water if I have to. He just wanted to be around something that was special. He knew what he had walked into, and that's why he signed the dotted line to come to the Detroit Lions. And man, if he wasn't telling the truth. He told the truth. This guy just wants to win. You got to have guys like that on a team when you were trying to get to the goal, which is a championship. Because guys like that, they teach you that it's a selfless act. They teach you that it's all about the team. It's no man bigger than the team. And when you got guys that believe in that old cliche thing, you'll win, and you'll find out that it ain't so cliche when you're hosting trophies and wearing jewelry.
And there's no different from Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? Yeah. I mean, Amon-Ra is as big a team guy as you can get. He might not catch passes for 3 quarters, but he's out there blocking down the field. Did you see that one video of Dan Campbell? I think it's season 1.
When he got mad?
No.
When Saint got mad?
No, when Dan Campbell is in the film room with the Lions, and they lost the game, and he pointed out how hard St. Brown was blocking down the field.
Oh, yeah.
This is year 1. Yeah. Of Dan Campbell in the Detroit Lions.
I think year 1 was that receiver that they showed. Remember, Amon was in the receiver Netflix documentary, and he was mad leaving the field. I think it was against the Saints, but that was early in his career.
That was year 3.
Pardon?
That was year 3.
Was it?
Yeah, that was last year.
That was last year.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like anything with receiver, that was his. That was last year.
Yeah, that was last year.
That was that bet. In fact, I know for a fact because in my gambling days. I hit my bet in the first quarter. The Lions had 28 points in the first quarter, and then Frank Ragnar got hurt in right before half. But yeah, I remember that game.
Well, that receiver special too was interesting because the San Francisco 49ers had 2 guys, Kittle and Debo.
Yeah.
And they were all at the NFC Championship game last year. 3 of the.
And Debo has fallen off the earth since then.
Yeah,
literally.
There's no doubt.
They might not even keep him.
It is wild how that is it, Maz. I'm so glad you brought up that point. It just goes to show you got 4 years.
Like
you got
that.
a 4 or 5 year window. You really 5 years max.
He took a beating.
Unless you have a Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes type quarterback, then it's elongated.
And you stay healthy.
Unless you have a Tom Brady or a Patrick Mahomes type quarterback, then it's elongated. Because everybody else can catch up to you unless you have a quarterback an all-time great.
Also, too, if you're paying attention to the craft, like if you're focusing on the craft the whole time, like Deebo Samuel, and I don't know what he does in the offseason, but he doesn't look like the same wide receiver year to year. He looks like he is falling off year by year. And yeah, man, it's a lot of those rushes that he does, the little option plays that Kyle Shanahan puts him in. But guess what? He got paid to do that. He negotiated in his contract that this is what I was going to do, but this is what I want, but this is what I'm willing to do. These guys here in Detroit, they focus all year round. These guys are dedicated to the craft. They're dedicated to being in there, in the field, working out in the weight room, watching film, trying to get a bit better. They're not guys scrubbing their social. See, when you get guys scrubbing socials in the offseason, those guys aren't really putting in that work because they're worrying so much about getting paid that they're forgetting to put the work in. You know how I know that? Ask number 11 for the 49ers. Where was he this year? Oh, he was holding out. He didn't want to play. He thought he was above the 49ers until he has to go back to the 49ers, sign the original contract. He was so worried about that bread, he didn't put the work in like they're putting in here, 100%.
Speaking of Amon-Ra St. Brown, here's what he had to say about getting Monty back.
It's going to mean a lot. You know, he's a big part of this team. And anytime you get, you know, a key player, a guy like him that, I mean, the way he runs, you can't really replace it. So to have him back, we're all super excited on the offense side of the ball. Because I mean he sets a tone for us as an offense. I feel like he gets guys going. So we can't wait to have him out there. I'm excited to see him even go and practice again, and then be out there for the game.
By the way, you see all these guys dyeing their hair blue.
Yeah,
he
was the first one to do it a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, once
but I'm saying
playoffs.
like all the Lions fans.
Oh God, yeah.
It's pretty funny to see.
How about that fan that they found in Philly? They actually found him.
Oh my gosh!
And
Fired
this guy was belligerent during the Packers and Philadelphia game. He was belligerent to a woman and her husband or boyfriend, and the guy was so bad. But the internet is undefeated. They have the sleuths that found this guy, found
Ryan
his
Caldwell.
name. He's been fired from his job. Can't go to any more games, all for being a jackass. Just watch yourself when you go to a game, guys, and behave. I mean, the Vikings last week complained about a couple of Lion fans going after them. Just behave. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the ride, man.
Before we get to that, can I just finish this Lions conversation? Because I do think that's an important topic and a good reminder about just being a fan at a game.
Yeah.
But how long do you think this window is open, legitimately? Like, just because of the San Francisco 49ers thing. Like,
how long did they last?
Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Eventually, over time, everybody's going to want their money. Everybody's ego is going to get inflated. Everybody's you only stay this close for so long. That's just history, man. That's not an opinion. That's just a fact.
Go back to the old days then. How long did the Steelers stay together? A long time. The Raiders.
I don't
the
think
Dolphins.
you can. I don't think
the
you
Dolphins,
can do that.
The 49ers back then. The Giants. You have a window. You have at least a 5-year window. And with the way this team drafts, they got guys. I read today, Justin Rogers put out a great column on that Giovanni Manu, the kid that they drafted last year in the 4th round. He was a reach, 6'7", 350-pound offensive lineman. He had to learn how to play the position in the NFL. Christian Mahogany, one of the better backup interior linemen. They are growing. This guy, Manu, next year, you're going to see him on the line, man. You're going to see this guy on the line. So they just keep churning him out, man.
I disagree with you, Ryan. I understand what's happened in the past, and, we haven't seen it before, so it can't exist. Yeah, we've never seen this before either. We've never seen a team that has been so close as it relates to the owner, the GM, and the head coach. Dialed into a T, the draft status, the players that they want to bring in, what it's like down there that's been this locked in. They'll be drafting players for a while. I disagree because Baltimore's had the same integrity for the span of even before John Harbaugh. But since John Harbaugh's got there, they've drafted well every year. Yeah. They've had quarterbacks.
They've never even made it to a Super Bowl, though.
Who?
Baltimore.
What are you talking about?
With Lamar Jackson.
But every year you feel like they have a chance to win.
Yeah. Okay.
Like every year you feel like Baltimore is, if not the best chance, the second best chance underneath the Chiefs, and maybe the third chance if you want to count the Bills 2 or 3 years ago. They've been in the running because they've drafted well, because they've had the quarterback, because they have a coach, and because they have a culture there. I think that's what the Lions have built here. People now want to come here. We really, if I'm being honest, Ryan, we really haven't even tapped into the free agent market.
So
here in Detroit, with the exception of C.J. Gardner-Johnson and maybe DJ Reader, we haven't even had to see what that looks like. You know how many free agents are clamoring to change the way that they play or change the way they operate to be a part of what Dan Campbell has built?
So I'm going to be talking out of both sides of my mouth, but I believe this specific Super Bowl window is 5 years. And I'm thinking you can get at least two Super Bowls out of the next 5 years. That is what I think the goal should be. At least 2 Super Bowls out of the next 5 years, and then all bets are off after that. But if there is an organization that can have an elongated period of success, I'm talking a decade now, it is the Detroit Lions. Because, you could take quarterback out of it, but when you look at Kansas City, it's so hard to look at Kansas City's situation and not include Patrick Mahomes. So I'm gonna include Patrick Mahomes in this next statement. Outside of the Kansas City Chiefs, just look at the entire organization, owner, GM, head coach, whatever. There isn't a situation in football that is as good as the Detroit Lions. You cannot handpick. If I go up to you, Braylon Edwards, or you, Tom Mazway, or KG, Spivak, Maria, and I say, you can go handpick any organization in football to transport them and make them your team. They could be your team.
Yeah.
I'm picking the Detroit Lions every single day.
Me too.
Name me a better situation in the NFL right now, a better structured organization than the Lions.
Yeah, you can't name one.
You can't name one. That is why if there is a team that can go have a Super Bowl window longer than 5 years, and again, I'm saying 2 Super Bowls in the next 5 years is the expectation for me. I think they can do it, and maybe even more than that because of who these guys are.
Also, too, you got to realize that because of how Brad Holmes has rewarded the players that he drafted based on what they did. Look, we sat down, we said, we draft you, you get to this is what we'll do. Since he's done that, don't you think and don't you believe that these are players that will take less in the years moving forward, that will rework deals, as we hear all the time, rework their contracts?
You would know that more than me. I don't know that.
Well, when you care about a franchise, you will. Because I watched Larry Fitzgerald, a friend of mine, rework his contract 1,000,000 times over so that they had room to bring in a Kurt Warner to help him out, so that they had room to bring in
Brady did?
Patrick Peterson.
Larry did it after he got paid.
Brady was different. Brady did it after he was 10 years in and he was making $50 million off the field. But I watched Larry Fitzgerald do it, and it worked and got them to a Super Bowl, in which they lost to the Steelers that year. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, you can't tell me he's going to see a situation where Brad Holmes comes to him and say, we need a little bit of money to go.
But again, he already got paid.
But understandably so. But because he got paid, they're the pillars of this new society. So now the guys that are getting drafted, they're looking to these guys. But he's going to have to rework his deal at some point. Penei Sewell will rework his deal. Like Aiden Hutchinson, once he gets paid, when that time comes, because they want to continue success. Like, this is a different day and age. These guys are making so much money off the field because of streaming and influencing and other things and other business deals. Football is going to now become their, I'm getting paid, but I'm getting paid over here. If you need to dock this a little bit, sure, as long as we keep winning.
All right, guys, break time. Coming back, go around the NFL, and, of course, plenty of other matchups and potentially weather in Philadelphia. But first, a message from
the New Holland Brewing Company watch party. Join Woodward Sports and the Heavyweights live at Gilley's in downtown Detroit for the biggest watch party in Metro Detroit. Fellas go live just before kickoff every Lions game day, and we will catch all the reactions live on Woodward Sports. Come eat, drink, and cheer on the brand new Lions at Gilley's, only on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. And we have the New Holland Brewing Company post-game show. Join Stick and Anston live from Gilley's in downtown Detroit. The guys will give their instant takes immediately following every Lions game. You can call in from anywhere and be a part of the show, or show up to Gilley's and give your opinions on the show. Only on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller, your local long drink, 1800 Tequila, and Sabbath Coffee.
And speaking of Sabbath Coffee, you can fuel your Lions fandom with the perfect cup and become a subscriber of Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Whether you're gearing up for a big game or savoring a quiet morning, Sabbath Coffee Roasters has you covered with fresh, locally roasted specialty coffee delivered right to your door. Head to www.sabbathcoffeeroasters.com. Choose your favorite roast. Use the code word Woodward, and you'll get 25% off your first subscription order. Awake and unwind, support local, and enjoy game day right with Sabbath Coffee Roasters. We'll be right back.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts, Woodward Sports.
Everybody, you got to scan the QR code above my head and get your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. And when you do, use the code word Woodward1000 and deposit at least $20. When you make your first bet, if your first bet happens to lose of $20 or more, you will get your first bet back as a bonus bet, but only if you scan the QR code above my head and use the code word Woodward1000 to get your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account.
All right, Detroit Lions, they play on Saturday, 8:15. You can't tell me that signature wings from Soroki's doesn't sound like a good idea. It sounds like a great idea to me, so that's what I'm going to do. The lemon pepper especially. You got to remember that these wings are only here for a limited time, so you got to get them while they're hot. Literally. Soroki's, man, this is where the real fans' favorite. So you need to be one of those fans and pull up on them. The wings aren't good enough for you. You still got that crispy chicken, and they still have those honey biscuits. Don't forget, they do pizza as well. Soroki's, we're the real fans' favorite. Welcome back. Ryan and Ermanni had to take off, so KG helping us on the desk today. They're in trouble. The Blacks have taken over.
I know, man. They ain't ready, man.
I'm just messing around. We've been talking so much about the Detroit Lions, the Pistons, the Red Wings. Tigers making the playoff. The Red Wings did lose last night. 6-3. Unfortunately, they now move to 500. But hey, look, still looking good. Still like where they at with the head coach change. So shout out to the Red Wings for keeping me interested.
It's Billy Husso's fault. It's Husso's fault, man.
100%.
They head to Florida on Thursday. They got a 4-game road trip. So tomorrow on the road against the Stanley Cup champs. We'll see how they face off against them. Should be a good game. Yeah. Tom McClellan lit him up last night after the game. He said, you guys, some of you stunk last night. Some of you guys laid an egg.
Some honesty.
That's a team you got to beat. You got to beat the Sharks, right?
Yeah, you should.
We'll see how they bounce back. I think they'll bounce back well. Big test.
Tom Mazaway, without hesitation, why don't we take us around the NFL? Because there's a lot more going on than just the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. You know it. Playoffs, of course, coming up on Saturday and Sunday, the divisional round. A lot of coaching openings available, including those Dallas Cowboys. They are still open. Jerry and Dion supposedly have talked. And who knows? Will this be a marriage?
Ugh.
Will this be a marriage?
They saying talks are ongoing at this point. I just don't necessarily see how Dion can deal with that on a day-to-day basis.
He's done it already.
That's true, but as a player, this is a whole different thing being a head coach under Jerry Jones. But, I mean, if anybody can do it and take on that headache, I think it is Deion Sanders.
Dion says he loves Boulder, Colorado. I really don't know what that means in this whole sense. He's got to play his cards right. He's playing poker. Jerry's going to play poker. I believe they need a fresh face.
Yeah.
And you can't get fresher than Deion Sanders. I'd roll the dice and give him a chance, Braylon.
Yeah, I don't think you can get fresher than Deion Sanders. And yesterday I came up here and I talked about Deion, and I didn't necessarily think that he could get the job done. I went home. I talked to my pops about it a little bit. He disagrees. And who am I to say that he couldn't? You know, you look at it, really is about motivating men. How many guys are in the NFL right now that you're looking at like, Deion's better than this guy? Deion's better than that guy. So if you give him the right platform, the right format, he goes in there, hires the right coaches, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. There's definitely a strong history there with Jerry Jones. He loves his Dallas Cowboys, and even though he didn't draft Deion's one of his favorite Dallas Cowboys of all time. So why wouldn't it work?
And one thing about Deion is that he doesn't fail, whether it's at the high school level, whether it's HBCU, Jackson State, whether it's Colorado, who he's finally turned around. At the NFL level, I mean, you never know.
The more I think about it, the more I know he's the guy for that job.
And then, too, man, there's a lot of people that were talking about, Deion's not loyal. He went out to Colorado. Colorado essentially made him, and then he just discards him. First of all, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Colorado didn't make Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders' brand existed way before he got to Colorado. Now, when he got to Colorado, I was just about to say, man, they haven't had this much notoriety ever. People don't even know that they won a national title in 1990, but nobody would know it. They think they never won. Deion Sanders is somebody that got people to look at that program. He put eyes on them, had them in the national spotlight, all the analysts talking about them, wearing the sweatshirts. Deion made that program into something that a lot of people will now go and try to take over because people know what Colorado is. So he made that program just as much as they helped him. So if he left, he left them much better off than they were before he got there.
It's a tough job, man. That's a tough job. Troy Aikman on Monday Night Football, a great Cowboy legend, came out and he said, I don't know how good this job would be for people. I don't think it's a coveted job, and it's because of the way Jerry Jones has his hands on you constantly. Will Jerry Jones loosen it up? What's it, 30 years now? Or 35 years? That they haven't made.
It's been 30.
1996.
A championship
game.
So
30, almost 30.
30 years, man.
When's
enough, man?
It doesn't get any better. Like Maz, it's not going to get any better. Excuse me, 1995. It's not going to get any better. You don't just all of a sudden, after doing things 40 years a certain way, 84 years a certain way, you just don't all of a sudden change overnight. And I don't think he changes. Troy Aikman, I'm pretty sure he wish he could walk the comments back, but maybe we got to stop looking at it like NFL players are not like college players. College players are dialed into their institutions. They die hard for their institutions. They're alums. They take true pride in it, so they would never say a negative thing about it. Maybe this is Troy Aikman being a Dallas Cowboy through and through. He just wants to let them know this is not what it looks like. The Dallas Cowboys are a struggling organization. They've been a struggling organization for a while. And maybe he's just like, I'm fed up with it. I want to say something because Troy wants it to look a little bit different.
There, Pete. I want that quote up there again. Kenny, go ahead. You can
because I think he's just being honest here because it's not just the fact that, okay, Jerry likes to control everything. Jerry also has loose lips. He likes to go to the media and tell the business. And I think for the Dallas Cowboys at this point, they need somebody that's going to come in and discipline some of these players. Yeah. And when you're looking at somebody like Deion, big personality, is going to attract media fanfare to that franchise. And they already are a franchise that feeds off of media fanfare. So if it goes south, then I just feel like it wouldn't be the best look. But they need somebody that's going to come in there and be able to kind of humble them in a way because that's the big problem with the Cowboys right now. They too caught up in the spotlight.
He says, obviously it's a high-profile job. It's going to have a lot of attention, but I think football people like Dan Campbell, stuff like that, will not be interested in a job like this to work for this man. Because when's his Netflix special coming out? Pretty soon, right?
Well, I believe
What's
so.
He got, like a 10-part?
8, I think it is 8 to 10 parts. Yeah. You can't operate like that under Jerry Jones. He's micromanaging everything. He's allowing you space, but then he's taking that space away from you. You're saying one thing to the media. He's going to the media and he's saying a whole different thing that you said. He's also siding with players. So now you can't even control your own players.
Thank you.
Because if there's a situation where, let's say, Mike McCarthy has an issue with Micah Parsons and he goes and says something, all Micah has to do is call Jerry. Now Jerry's going to call Mike, and now Mike, Coach McCarthy, he's not even coaching at this point because he has to walk on the eggshells around certain players. So when you build a relationship with an owner like that, a coach really can't do anything. He can't do anything at all.
By the way, super chat from Dante. He says, just a reminder, guys, we're 99 days away from the draft in Green Bay.
Oh,
what do you think that draft is going to be like?
I think it's going to be fun, man. It's a big parking lot,
but it's no city life. There's no views. There's no POVs.
It's not going to be Detroit.
But it's like the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I mean, that's how beautiful Lambeau Field is and the history that place has. I think they'll do a fun job Hope the weather cooperates like it did for us.
Yeah.
We got lucky here, man. We got lucky. Speaking of weather, sleet and snow Sunday in Philly for the LA Rams and the Eagles. Sleet and snow. First of all, I love watching games like that.
Oh, of course.
But right away, who gets – I think Philly gets the advantage there.
100% because Matt Stafford and Sean McVay, they're the passing game. Now, look, Kyron Williams is a damn good running back.
Oh, yeah.
Kyron Williams is a damn good running back, but that's not their bread and butter. That's what not they do. He has a lot of success based on getting the tight ends out in the flats and getting the ball over across the middle to Puka Nacua. So they definitely have to run the ball, and that works in the favor of that defensive line of Philadelphia Eagles led by Jalen Carter, man. That D front is stacked. Kyron Williams is going to have a tough time.
Rams
and in a game like that, you are going to have to be physical, and that's where I kind of worry about how physical are the LA Rams. And I hate to break it down to as simple as, okay, they're a dome team. It's a little bit more than that. Matt Stafford has been primarily a product of being a dome team for most of his career.
For sure.
So I just wonder about the physicality and if they can handle that, because the Eagles got that in spades, man. Of course, Saquon Barkley leading that rushing attack. It's going to be hard to stop them in the snow.
We'll find out. Here's another coaching opening, but not the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin. Everyone's like, hey, Mike should just leave. They should trade him to a team, get some draft picks. Well, someone asked Mike Tomlin that the other day. Hey, what's all this rumors
what
about?
They do that for?
What are all these rumors about you going somewhere else? Check it out.
What's your message to any team that may reach out to the Steelers to gauge interest or availability in your services?
I have no message. Save your time.
Save your time, he says. So he's dying there, right?
He's becoming like a hoarder.
Yeah.
He's becoming like a hoarder that doesn't want to leave the house, doesn't want to throw boxes of cereal away.
Who really wants to move?
It's just collecting. But that's what I was telling Ryan. Like, he's got 20 years in.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 20 years in one of the most storied franchises of all time, and it still isn't. Oh, by the way, he's hoisted one himself. So it would be tough to push me out as well. And I'm telling you, the other part of it is, you don't know what you don't know. Like, it's scary to go to another team and have to start over. Same reason I talked about Quinn Ewers not going back. Go to another team, having to start over, and now trying to build that up. That foundation is already built that he came into. It's tough trying to build one yourself.
No, absolutely. It works having legacy on your side. And then when you get to a new spot, let's say it don't work out. Now you got a shorter leash. They don't care about your Hall of Fame career. If you don't come fix our situation in 2 to 3 years, then we're looking for the next guy. So I think it's just a tough situation, man. If I'm Pittsburgh, I would probably give Tomlin one more crack at it, one more go at it. Try to go get maybe some kind of quarterback and some kind of offensive system that can work better, because that's been the main problem. They haven't had a quarterback in all of this time, and they have bitten the bullet because of that.
I'm glad you brought that up, KG.
Who?
Because who is going to quarterback them? I know a guy that wants to quarterback the Steelers. His name, Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, obviously, I love it here and everything else, and I think we have a great football team. Obviously, it didn't go in the way we wanted it to, and I think there's a lot more to do. And I said to you guys before, I always just trust God in the process and all that.
He said he's got a lot more in him, and he wants to come back. Does he deserve to come back? I think he does. They're going to draft a quarterback. I think, why not just stick with Russ one more shot?
I think right now you have a situation where this thing needs to look different.
Yeah.
Like, this thing needs to look different. But at the same time, there was some consistency in there with Russell Wilson. So is it moving the running back and adding some wide receivers? So I don't really know at this time what I would do, because you can't finish like that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't finish like that and get a job back. And then also you can say, well, he won some games in there. I got news flash. Justin Fields is 4-2 as well.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, now his contract is up. Like, now they got to pay this man some money. And based off what I've seen, it wasn't good enough down the stretch. Now that I'm talking this out loud, I don't think it was good enough down the stretch for me to bring him back on as the guy, because I know he's not the guy. So I'm kind of wasting time in the first 3, 4, 5 weeks of the season.
Yeah, if you're looking at the situation Tomlin's in now where his job is in question, I don't know if you want to have Russ come back and lead. This offense needs to look different as a whole, man. Yeah. Najee Harris, you haven't really got much out of him. George Pickens, not really a consistent number one receiver. We all know the Deontay Johnson fiasco. Offensively, they just got to do something different, man. And if this is Mike Tomlin's last hurrah, I don't know if Russell Wilson should be your guy.
Arthur Smith it was their OC.
Yeah.
And the word on the street was he was always a Justin Fields guy.
Yeah.
And he always wanted to use Justin Fields. Now, are the Steelers holding him back because they didn't want to give the Bears that extra, like a 6th-round pick instead of a 7th-round pick when they traded for him or whatever the number was? Because maybe now they're like, okay, Justin Fields, you're our quarterback. Let's see what you got. Maybe they like him somehow. What do you think?
It ain't it. Like you're like, if you get Justin Fields this year or you get Russell Wilson this year, you're gonna face another season where you sneak into the playoff just to get waxed in the first round. Is this now who you want to be as a Pittsburgh Steelers organization? Like we just talked about, they got what, 5? They've hoisted 5 trophies or 6. Excuse me, 6. Yeah. Cowher got 1 and so did Tomlin. Like, are you just now the franchise that brags about what you did in the 70s? Or you bragged about that one time in Detroit when Jerome couldn't get in the end zone, but Willie Parker could? Nah, like I gotta. But they're not gonna start over with Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's not gonna start this over. So it really falls on what happens with Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's not a tiger can't change their stripes. We got to pay some bills real quick. Last one today, and we'll come back and we will wrap the show up. Let's get a little message in from New Holland.
Ooh.
Have you heard of the long drink, the gin-based cocktail?
I haven't, Maria.
Oh, my mic.
Yeah, no, I was playing.
We've got one made right here in Michigan, made with all natural ingredients for better flavor. Taller, the Dutch long drink from New Holland Brewing Company is shoulders above the rest. Made from New Holland small batch gin, 100% real grapefruit puree for a fresh and delicious flavor. Taller is your local drink, and we'll be right back.
Back-to-back NFC North Division champions. The Detroit Lions are playoff bound and ready to eat the kneecaps of anyone standing in our way. Follow Woodward Sports as we cover the best season in Detroit Lions history. Go Lions!
Talk about pressure, we live in pressure. That's where we freaking thrive. You get it again.
From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Oh, yeah, everybody. It is divisional round matchup time, and you need to be on Saturday from 1 to 3 at the second best bar located at 42 Randy Watson Street in Detroit for the ultimate fan experience. Enjoy some smooth Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey while catching the Woodward Sports Lions pregame show again this Saturday, 1 to 3, only at the second best bar. Come get some.
Saturday, because they made the time for the Pistons game 4 o'clock start, and then the Lions are 8:15. Would you go to both, Mass?
Hell yeah.
You would?
Heck yeah. If I had Lion tickets,
I would hell of a ticket.
I would for sure go early,
yeah,
get a good parking spot.
Yep.
Go to the Pistons game, walk across the street.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I think that'd be a hell of a move. You two
That's the party move.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of having all 4 teams on one block, man. It's nothing like it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
and Maria, you're going to the game.
I am
You're going to the Lions. I highly recommend you tell Dad and your brothers to head on over to the Pistons game first.
I'll try to convince them.
All right. There you go. You got it.
They worth to watch.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a plan there. It's funny too because Devin
Play the
Booker.
Suns.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. Devin Booker found out that the Lions were in town, so he's actually thinking about coming over to the game if they stay. But
when is Devin Booker gonna stop teasing us, man? Wearing all this Detroit gear, the Red Wings
from
stuff.
here though.
I get it, but people really want Devin Booker to come home, and I just don't think it's gonna happen.
I mean, I wore a lot of Detroit fitteds when I was in Cleveland, but I wasn't trying to play for the Lions.
Yeah, true.
Hey, you spoke of Deontay Johnson earlier. He has burned another bridge.
Of course.
This one is with a playoff team. He is so angry last week that he didn't get enough plays that the Texans that were done with you, they released Deontay Johnson.
Third team in one season.
He's going to go to KC.
That's got to be a record. 3 teams in one year.
He's going to go to KC.
Off. Yeah, and you can call it the Pittsburgh Steelers curse, and it's all fun and games, and it's funny, but it's definitely something off with Deontay Johnson. Like, this is somebody that we've watched legitimately piss away, like,
and he's talented.
3 opportunities, and who wants you now?
Seriously.
Like, I don't understand. Like, you think it's forever. You think that because I have this ability that, you know what, I'll be all right. I'm here to tell you, man, people in this day and age is starting to change. Players don't want these type of players. And if you want to act like this, you better be out there putting up Devontae Adams numbers.
No, seriously.
Or Chase, or Jefferson, or Saquon Barkley. If you want to act like that, you better have 2,000 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Don't act like that and get out there and don't know the playbook.
Right. Yeah, you're on the fast track to either the UFL or out the league.
Him and Kenny Galladay going to be on the same team.
Seriously.
That's the couch.
Speaking of Devontae Adams, you know what he said? I'd go back to the Raiders if they wanted me, if they could work something out.
I bet.
So that means, for sure, Aaron Rodgers ain't there in New York anymore.
Yeah,
that's a sure bet. Where he goes is a question. There's some people in Minnesota that's like, bring us Aaron Rodgers. Pittsburgh's like, bring us Aaron Rodgers.
Seattle.
Is he going to play another year? And where will he go?
Seattle.
How about the 49ers?
Like,
Seattle.
There's no better gift than a curse than Aaron Rodgers has been for Devontae Adams. Just look at it. He starts off with Aaron Rodgers. He's on his fast track to his Hall of Fame-like career. Then Aaron Rodgers gets in this place where it's him versus the organization, and now you're that all-pro receiver that's caught in limbo.
Yep.
Now you don't know what Aaron's going to do.
Yet
you don't
again.
know. So now you got to leave because Aaron's not giving you the green light, and you don't know what's going to happen. Now you go to a horrible franchise in the Las Vegas Raiders. You stay there. They fired Derek Carr in that process.
Mm-hmm.
You end up playing with Aiden O'Connell, who is not in your cards. Then you say, you know what? I'm going back and play with my homeboy in New York. Now he's leaving yet again, and you've essentially wasted the better part of 4.5 years.
Right, and y'all could have stayed in Green Bay together if Aaron Rodgers had just took the pay cut in the first place. So,
good point.
I mean, I feel bad for Devontae Adams, but not really because you keep following this guy, and he is a cancer to locker rooms and organizations. So, I don't know what team picks him next. I mean, realistically, maybe the 49ers because they're not paying my mans. They're not paying the 7th round guy.
Yeah.
But after that, I don't know because if he don't make it work with a team like the 49ers, you're done, man. And you just ruining your legacy at this point.
That's his childhood team. It would probably be a dream for him to play on the coast with the Niners. You know, you got Brock Purdy, who hurt his elbow again. We don't know how bad it is again. He wants to get paid. He wants real money, and they said they're going to pay him. He's like, I don't want this to go into training camp. I want to get my money now and move on. Yeah. I don't know, man.
But if you're Kyle Shanahan, do you really want to hitch your wagon to Aaron Rodgers? Because I feel like Kyle Shanahan is maybe kind of on the hot seat. Like he
better be.
Yeah, I mean, the window seems to be closing over there, and you only get so many cracks at the apple. Do you want to hitch your wagon to Aaron Rodgers?
Probably not. Probably not.
What if Geno Smith doesn't come back?
Yeah, I mean,
they know him. He was there last year.
Yeah.
Here's one for you guys being Michigan fans. Michigan defensive coordinator Wink Martindale is being wooed by the NFL again. He's got interviews with the Falcons and Colts, and there's another team as well that is interested in the highest paid defensive coordinator in college football. What would you do if you were Wink Martindale?
I'd stay in Michigan.
If he's smart.
Like Wink Martindale's played in the NFL. Wink Martindale is coaching in the NFL for a lot of years. Now he's in a space where you got paid. You're the highest coordinator in the land. Not to mention you see the change in Michigan and what they're going to be. Not to mention just playing in Michigan like what they've already accomplished in this last 3-4 year run. So if I'm Wink, I wouldn't, because you go to an NFL team, guess what? You might be out before the season's over. Or you might be out at the end of the season or a 2-year run. You can't build or you can't bet on any stability in an NFL job. So if I'm him, who's got it better than him right now?
True, but if he leave, I'm not going to stop him because, I mean, we got to be real about the situation. Yes, he did become a better coach as the season went along, but for all the talent that was still kind of left over on that Michigan defense, they did not have a good showing this year. So Wink coming back, I'm cool with it.
At the end of the year,
they did. I'm cool with Wink coming back, but if he really wants to go to the NFL, I'm not going to stop him. I'm not.
Yeah, the further I looked at that season, you start to realize, I mean, you got an offense that ain't scoring up to 10 points a game. That puts a lot of pressure on that defense.
Hell yeah.
So takes a while to figure out. But to your point, there was some times in there, but if I was Wink, I wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
Hey, playoffs are this weekend, obviously. Wild card weekends in the past. It's the divisional. It's the grade 8 remaining. How about the bottom 5? Here is your bottom 5 or top 5 for the NFL draft. Just to remind everyone how they are picking. It's the Titans, the Browns, the Giants, the Patriots, and the Jags.
Good for the Titans, man. Number 1 pick. You know I'm an Oilers fan, so by right, it makes me a Titans fan. So I think it's perfect time, though. Isn't it weird how, like, when teams get their number 1 pick, like, the stadium is changing?
Getting ready. They got another year to wait, but it's getting
in the stadium.
And we was talking about Quentin Ewers earlier, declaring for the draft. Those first 3 teams are QB hungry teams.
Hell yeah, they are.
I'm not sure how it's going to shake out, but expect a lot of QBs to be overdrafted.
I agree.
In this
100%.
Class.
Will Levis is on the outs in Tennessee. I don't think they believe in him.
Mayonnaise.
Mayo coffee.
Yep. So
mayonnaise.
You know who's not on the outs is my man Anson Wells, who will be joining us tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Ermanni and Edwards with Maz will be joined by Anson Wells tomorrow. That should always be fun. And for the super chat, he gets you guys involved and gets you guys going. So it's gonna be fun with Anson tomorrow, man. That's for today. Appreciate Maria, who's been in both booths, if I am correct, as well as my man Pete Spivak. Tom Mazaway. KG on the desk.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it. It's good to be with you, man.
No, for real. This is the fastest 30 minutes ever.
I can see this, right? I can see this in the future, man. Okay. But we appreciate you guys as always. You are the fan, and you are who the show is for. We'll see you tomorrow.
Appreciate y'all.
See you guys.